Hey everyone, Silent here, and welcome to Sekai. Today I'm going to give you a rundown of how the events work in Colorful Stage, and some advice for anyone wanting to clear as much of the event store as possible, or just unsure what to get. So, let's jump right into it. Alright, first things first, let's talk about event time. So the devs posted that the events are going to last about 1 week for 8 to 9 months until July 2022. And by doing so, we'll have our events match the actual holiday seasons. So Halloween will land on Halloween, Christmas events will land around Christmas time, and New Year's will be actually on New Year's. So we're gonna be on an accelerated week schedule, but once we hit around July 2022, we'll go back to the regular 2-week schedule and everything should line up accordingly. So this doesn't mean we're going to be caught up to JP by any sense of the word. We're probably never going to be caught up to JP, but instead it's going to make it so our events match up with the season and we follow our own timeline of how the events work. Alright, with that all out of the way, let's talk about building a team for the event. So character bonuses and type bonuses, they each give you 20%, and then if you have both, you get a 50%, which is really nice. So that's pretty straightforward. But if you want to go a little more into it and try to get as many points as possible, every card has a skill attached to them, and there's 3 different kinds. We have a score up with ID here, which, just gives you more points for 5 seconds. Then we have She-Hole with a perfect lock, so anything that would be considered a great is now considered as perfect for a set amount of time and gives you a small amount of bonus to your score. And then you have healer cards like Shizuku here, which give you a little bit of HP back and also increase your score for a small amount. Now eventually you'll be able to level up skills, but that's not until you're level 30, and I usually would recommend, when it comes to leveling skills, just max out your level 1 and level 2 skills because they cost very little, especially if you rolled a lot. They take wish pieces, which you get from the gacha from duplicates, and one star cards take 1 experience point each, I believe, so you can max them out with only 5 wish pieces, while 2 stars take 5, and I think they scale from 5 to 10, 15 to 20, so honestly it's not that much. Mainly I'd probably suggest to just max out your favorites, because I do recommend, when it comes to tiering in events like these, is to really, if you really want to get as many crystals and get a banner, go for the groups that you really like. Don't just go for any group that goes up, because recharges are very limited in the game, and once you're out of these recharge items, you're not going to get them for a while. So they're very rare, and then and if you use them all up and you still want to continue using, you're gonna have to expend crystals. And if you're free to play, you're probably not very willing to do that. If you're a whale, you don't care, you'll do whatever. But just as a heads up, I would recommend leveling up your 1 and 2 star skill cards, because you'll be able to use them regardless, because that 50% bonus actually does a lot more than you would think, and having like 1 or 2 2 and 1 star cards on your team is honestly perfectly fine, because you can get up to a pretty good spot even without a 4 star, because so long as you're leveling up your your cards that are 1, 2, and even the 3 stars, you'll do just fine in climbing up. If you're playing them daily, or even if you're just loading it once a day, you'll do just fine. And you can even increase their talent score by reading these side stories. I've already read Shizuku's here, but I haven't yet to read because I need more materials. But reading their side stories not only give you crystals, but they also give points towards talent, which, the higher the talent is, the more points you're going to get out of your results. And then you can see that there's a 5 here that counts as a master rank, and as you level up a card's master rank by also expending the wish pieces from the gacha, you increase a character's base stats, their talent, by a set amount. So if I go here to mastery real quick, you can see that for ID, if I can get this to work, oh wait, no, I just have to hold tap because we're on by mastery. So for her, it takes 150 for a 1-star, and then just tax it on. It takes 1 wish piece for a 1-star, and then for Shizuku here, she gains 300, so it's like double, and they take 5 each. So if you just work on your 1 and 2 stars, you gradually get them, you'll get them higher. They'll be as strong as a base, like a non-mastery ranked and a non-master rank card. They can have as possibly, I think, as much stats as them, but basically it really does help out in the end. And also you do increase character rank from there as well, because as you level up a character rank, you get a very, very tiny talent bonus. But what's more important about it is it allows you to get crystals and the banner. You get vocal cards, you get a shirt, you get stamp vouchers. So basically to get more things to roll and just show your support for the character. And also you unlock challenge show member slots, which is very important later on, where challenge shows end up giving a lot of bonus points towards the events whenever they're up. But for now, considering that it's still early in the game, it doesn't give as much. But once we're later down the line, the challenge shows do give out a lot of event points. And the best thing about it, it doesn't take any stamina. So whoever character that you have the most challenge slots for, and it can be whoever you like, then you'll be getting a lot of event points from there. So think of it as like a long-term investment kind of thing that you can unlock. So yeah, again, don't worry about not having a 4-star on your team. I don't have a 4-star at all. Like I have 2 2-stars, 1 and 2 1-stars, and a 3-star that's fully trained up too. So you don't have to worry too much. Don't stress if you don't have the 4-star. Obviously it'd be really nice to have them, because then it really helps. But if you just want to go up a little bit, or you just want to get enough out of the store, having a team like this is perfectly fine, and you'll get as much, and you'll probably get the stuff I do recommend anyway. So again, don't worry about it. Alright, now that we have team building out of the way, let's talk a little bit about stamina. So if we back out, and then right before we enter a show, you can select how much stamina you use. You can set how much you're going to expend whenever you play alive. If you're a whale, you're going to use 10, most likely, and just keep recharging. So that's not what we're here for. We're talking about free to play or just regular, usual play. So I recommend 2 to 3. It gives a good amount of drops and experience points and event points. And, you know, if you're busy, you can't play too many songs, you can do 3 lives for 3 stamina, and then just wait until you get the next 3, or goes and fills itself back up. Or if you can expend a little more time, you can use 2 and just play 5 shows from there. So I'd say this is about the sweet spot. You also level up at a decent pace, and if you want to get to level 30 to get most of the things unlocked, like skill leveling and a new area item to level up, then I'd say 3 is a nice spot to get there without having to expend too much time if you're a busy person. So that all being said, let's talk about challenge shows real quick. I know I mentioned it a bit earlier, but challenge shows are very unique, where you unlock at level 5 and you pick someone and it'll unlock for free. But once you've done 30 lives with a certain character, then you can unlock them, and it applies to every single character. So it'll take a while to unlock everyone's challenge show, but if you put the time into it, then you'll get them all eventually at some point. For me, I have Minori and Shizuku unlocked, and whenever you do a challenge show, it's same as always, you pick a song, but then you can use a team just of that character. So this is where character rank comes in and helps out a lot, because the more that you level someone up, the more slots are available to you. And in exchange, if that character just so happens to be the same attribute of the event, and eventually down the line when there's multiple copies of a character of the same attribute, then you can get your bonus, your attribute bonus or even character bonus, and get a whole bunch of event points from here for no stamina cost. And as a nice little bonus, if you beat the high score shown here, you get crystals, and it scales up all the way until you hit 1 million points. And it's a good way to also level up your character rank, because every time you increase your level, you get 1 point towards your character rank. So it all kind of accumulates all together and leads into another thing. So yeah, that's very briefly how challenge shows work. Alright, so let's talk about actually playing for the event. So the difference between solos and multis is that solos, or not multis, but co-op here, but I think you get the point. So solos, they don't give as much points as multis, so I do recommend, I'm probably going to keep calling them multis, it's a habit, I'm sorry. But I'll try my best. So co-ops are recommended because you get a lot of points. You get I'd say probably 2 times the amount of points compared to a solo. But if you're unable to grind away in a co-op show compared to a solo show, then in solo I would recommend you to play Melt. It is, but I do know it's a long song. It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but it does have the highest base event point score. So I mean event point base. So it gives a lot of event points, especially if you're playing it on, say, hard and expert, and the higher your total score is at the end, the more points you're going to get out of it. The only downside is it's about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and that's pretty long. But if you don't have a lot of time, I mean not a lot of time, but if you only want to play like a few songs just to get a quick little boost, then playing solo with Melt is a good way to do it. Now you could play that in co-op shows as well, but I can guarantee that someone's going to dodge, because not everyone's going to be very happy with you if you pick Melt. And if you show up with another person in another lobby and they recognize you and you pick Melt again, you might get some stamp spamming on you for that. So I would recommend not playing Melt in public co-op shows. But if you can find like a group of people and just all play Melt together, that would probably save a lot of trouble, not just on other people's behalf, but also on your behalf, because you might end up going through a lot of dodges just to play Melt in a co-op. So I'd recommend, if you're going to be playing Melt, do it solo or find a group of people, because any other song honestly still works in co-op. You can play whatever, like any song that pops up in there, whether it's short or long. It all works out, because the amount of points that you're getting in a co-op show, regardless of what the song is, you're getting a lot more than you would off a solo show. So that's just my advice for that. Alright, so let's finally get to the exchange shop. Whoops, my phone locked. Whoa. Alright, so when we get to the event exchange here, you can see I already got a lot of stuff down. But I do recommend first is getting the 2 and 3 star cards. Like I said before, the 2 and 3 star cards are very nice in giving you crystals. But not only that, as time goes on, there will be events that will use, again, of course, the same group, but their attributes are always going to change. So having as many different attributes of a character, getting that character, as many cards of the character, and as many different types of attributes will help you out in the long run. And you know, it's basically additional crystals that you can use to save up, and you might just need them too for challenge lives if they're also the character you use for them. So honestly, just pick them up, really. That's the best way I can put it. And you won't be able to get them again for a very, very, very long time. So if you miss out on them, and then an event rolls around and you realize, wait, I didn't get this character. I could have, but I got this instead. Well, There's not much I can say. We will be able to get them at a later date, but that's far into the future. And yeah, and if you do get them now, when you are able to get them in the future, you'll get them as dupes, and you can use those dupes to just strengthen all your other cards that you want to level up. So think of it again as a future investment. So I do highly recommend getting the 2 and 3 star cards first. Whichever one you want to get first though, that's on you. If you feel like you can get the 2 first and then the 3, I usually go 3 star then 2 star, mainly because I want to get the higher cost out of the way. You can go do that. Then after that, you can nab the crystals and then the event card. No, not the event cards, the skill up cards. Because skill up cards are very rare and they're hard to come by. You only get 2 of them every time in the event store. That's as often as you get them. And at the end of the event, wherever you land in the rankings. So they're very hard to come by. You don't really see them all too often. So always pick them up when you're able to, because it's very hard to level up skills in this game. If you've played Bandori or D4DJ, you can level up skills like it's nothing in that game. But here, seeing someone that has a level 2 or even a level 4, because the skill cap, the skill level cap is at 4. If you have someone that has that, then you know that they put they either had a lot of dupes, or they just had a lot of these skill books to level them up, because it's hard. I'll be honest, it's very hard to get a skill to level up in this game. Then after that, I haven't picked it up yet, but it would be the magical seed. So these magical seeds are for an area item that you unlock at level 25, and those area items are attribute specific score up or percent ups. So here, I can back out and I can show it actually. So if we leave the Sekais and go into the academies, right here at level 25 you unlock these flowers, and they take the magical seeds, and they increase by a lot. So I really it seems kind of small for now, it's only 10, but it only increases over time. And if you're trying to max one all the way to level 10, because area items go up to level 10 in this game, it's gonna take a lot of these magical seeds. And you do also get them from challenge shows, but you only get like 2 maybe, and sometimes you can get them as a rare drop in a super fever in multis or co-op shows, but they're extremely rare, so they're another item I really recommend on picking up. Oh, I did mention super fever, so that's another reason I would say to do co-ops over solos, is because in co-ops you go into fever, which basically gives you an additional drop. And if you get a super fever has a chance to give you rare items. So I'm not entirely sure off the bat if you can get a skill book out of there. I don't remember. I can't recall right now. But you do get magical seeds from there, or higher rarity materials such as the gems, like these things. Because normally in the general you only get these charms, but in veteran lobbies or the pro lobbies or in super fevers you can get a different gem instead, which are for 3 stars and 4 stars when you want to train them. And then going back to the event shop, exchange shop, after you grab the 2-3 stars, the crystals, the skill book, and the magical seed, which I'll get to at some point, I'll pick them up, promise. Honestly, from there, pick whatever you want to get. It's all your own personal preference on what you need. So if you want to get stamps, more stamps to use and co-op and share with people. Music cards to get more songs, obviously, and also get more crystals in exchange if you're aiming for all those full combos and so on. And then miracle gems are needed for training your 3-star and 4 stars to unlock their last 10 levels, and also used to unlock part 2 for side stories 4, 3, and 4 stars. So you're going to need a lot of miracle gems for them. And for the time being, part 2 of the side stories take a lot of these, but eventually later down the road they'll cost less. So maybe you might want to consider these as another high priority pickup for yourself. And virtual coins are for the shows that you go to, and then you expend them to get the group banners. Magic cloth and magic thread are for outfits you want to unlock. Practice score is just the XP, and you know, the charm and gems, I think I've already said before. So yeah, it's honestly your preference after the 2-3 star crystals, XP card, and the seeds. From there, do whatever you want that you need at that time. But I think, before I forget, don't forget to read the story. Most importantly, don't forget to finish reading the story or skip through the story if you want to read it after you read through all of Leonid. Trust me, read through Leonid. It's a great story, and reading through Stella afterward, oh man, it's a good story. If you haven't read through all of Leonid yet, or you think 20 chapters is a long time, Stella, if reading through Stella, if it interests you, it might get you to read through Leonid's own main story. But don't forget to read it, because once you miss out, I have everything unlocked, so I haven't read everything just yet. But I will after this. But if you don't read them now while the event is ongoing, you're going to lose out on crystals. I think it's about, I want to say 100 crystals or 50 crystals per episode, and there's a total of 8 episodes in an event. So don't forget to read the story, or skip through it and read it later. I know if you hit story now, it just takes you, there's no option for the event. Actually no, oh, there is the option for the event. That wasn't there before, back then. Huh, neat, sweet, good to know. But once the event passes, it'll be stored into event story, and you can read it at any time. So don't forget to at least view it so you can get your crystals. If you do miss out on getting the crystals, at the very least you'll be able to get the music cards. So it does kind of suck you miss out on crystals, but please don't forget to at least view the story. Whether read it through, skip through it, whichever you want to do. I recommend reading it, and I recommend it more so to read it after you finish Leonid. But that's on you. Oops, I hit the mic. I hope that didn't show up. But that's completely on you and how you wanted to go about it. Alright, I think that pretty much wraps up everything I wanted to say about the events. If there's anything I left out or forgot, most likely I forgot, because trying to write everything down that I usually do for these events, I probably forgot a step or two. But if there's any more questions or any more advice that you want to give to anyone else, feel free to drop it in the comments down below. I mainly wanted to do this because during my streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/silentep, there's been some people asking about what do I do at the events, what should I get, what do you recommend, and so on. So I wanted to just make this video to compile everything I usually say on stream, and for anyone else who doesn't stop by the stream or doesn't know, I thought it'd be a nice resource for you to refer to. Now, I do plan on making an update video in the future once events do change a little bit later on down the line. Oops, excuse me. Events will change a little bit later down the line, and I might I'll do an update video from there. But it probably is going to be more or less the same, just some minor tweaks. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed or found this video helpful, and maybe I'll see you around on stream. Be on at twitch.tv/silentep. I do play both EN and JP, so if you want to see a glimpse of the future, I do state whenever JP does go up. Usually it's EN first and JP, but you know, sometimes it switches. But we do open lobbies, virtual show watchings together, and read through the stories together. So if you want to enjoy watching the stories with a group of people and reacting, crying, laughing, more crying, happy cries, um, it might be fun to stop by and we can watch it together. I also play other games as well, like Genshin Impact and also Project Diva. I love Vocaloid, so that's gonna be a given. That might pop up from time to time. But yeah, that's only if you're interested. But if you do, it'd be nice to see you there. So, all that being said, I'll catch you around in the lobbies and colorful stage, whether in EN or JP. My name's always the same regardless. And again, welcome to Sekai.